Hi everyone, my name's Tylee. In this mini lecture, I'll be analyzing the Black Mirror episode, Nosedive, using the critical theory and Foucault's concept of biopower. This episode is one of my favorites because it feels so close to our current reality with social media and online validation. It's a story that looks exaggerated on the surface, but when you really think about it, the technology in the episode that isn't different from the technology we use every single day. This episode takes place in a world where people rate each other on a 5-star scale after every single interaction. This rating isn't just for fun, it completely determines your entire life. Your score affects where you can live, what jobs you can get, and the type of services that you can access, and even what social circles you're allowed to be a part of. The main character, Lacey, starts the episode with a 4.2 rating, which is good, but not quite good enough for the luxury lifestyle she wants. She becomes obsessed with reaching a 4.5 because that's the minimum score required to get a discount on a new apartment in a fancy neighborhood. As the story progresses, Lacey goes to extreme lengths to raise her score. She changes the way she speaks, dresses, acts in order to get her higher ratings from everyone around her. But the more she chases perfection, the more her life spirals out of control. By the end of the episode, she loses everything: her friends, her family support, her apartment, and even her freedom. It's a powerful reminder of how systems of control can completely take over someone's life, especially when technology is involved. So to analyze this episode, let's first talk about biopower, a concept developed by French philosopher Michel Foucault. Biopower is all about how modern societies control, regulate people, not just through strict laws or direct force, but through subtle systems that shape how people think, act, even see themselves. Instead of one single authority figure controlling everyone, biopower works because people start to control themselves based on what society expects of them. So in Nosedive, the 5-star rating system is a perfect example of how biopower is in action. There's no one person standing over Lacey with a rulebook telling her what to do. Instead, the fear of losing points and the desire to gain more points causes her to police herself. She forces herself to act fake, always smile, speak polite, and hide her true feelings because she knows every single interaction that she has could totally raise or lower her score. Can you imagine if that's how we were actually in our day-to-day lives? This is exactly how biopower works. It makes people behave in ways that keep the system running smoothly without needing obvious punishments or force. This connects to critical theory, which helps us look at how technology and power work together to maintain systems of inequality. So critical theory pushes us to ask who benefits from the system. In the episode, higher rated people gain special privileges like better housing, travel perks, and elite social invitations. Meanwhile, low rated people are excluded. They're pushed in the margins of society, and this is how technology can create and enforce class divisions even when it looks like just a neutral tool. So one specific scene is near the beginning. It's when Lacey's at her job. She works at a customer service desk where clients rate her after every single interaction. Lacey forces herself to be overly cheerful and fake even when she's feeling annoyed or tired, because one bad rating could bring down her entire score. So this moment is a clear example of how technology and capitalism intersect. The company doesn't need a strict boss constantly watching employees because the rating system does the work for them. So Lacey and her coworkers are motivated to control their own behavior out of losing points. This mirrors what we see today with gig economy jobs like Uber, DoorDash, Airbnb, where the workers are constantly being rated by us, their customers. A single bad review can impact someone's pay or could even cost them their job. Just like in Nosedive, people end up changing their behavior to please others, even if this means hiding their real emotions or personality. So another key scene that happens near the climax of the episode when Lacey's invited to give a speech at a wedding filled with high-status, 5-star people. She sees this as her big chance to boost her score and finally reach the 4.5 rating that she's been chasing. However, as she arrives, things start going wrong. Her score begins dropping rapidly due to a series of unfortunate events, like a bad interaction at the airport and a meltdown during her trip. By the time she takes the stage, she's completely unhinged and her score is plummeting in real time. As she tries to give her speech, no one listens to her. Instead, they watch in horror as her rating crashes. This public humiliation highlights how the system enforces social exclusion and hierarchy. So people with high scores are literally treated as superior, which those at low scores are ignorant or shamed. This isn't about technology, it's about how technology reinforces class systems and inequality. So in today's world, this isn't as extreme, but it's also not super hard to see the parallels. Social media influencers, for example, they're usually given special treatment because of their follower count or likes, such as these brand trips when most of these people already have money and they're constantly making more money, yet they get these free trips to go to places such as Fiji and Bahamas and just these extravagant trips just because they have a higher follower count and more viewers. While people with smaller platforms are often very overlooked. So the difference between a 5-star rating and a 2.5 rating is like the difference between someone with millions of followers and then someone with none, especially in the influencer world. So as an audience, this episode forces us to think about our own relationship with technology and social validation. So at first we might want to say, I don't live in a world like that, but if you really think about it, we already participate in a similar system through platforms like Instagram, TikTok, Snapchat. We might not have one overall score that controls our entire lives, but we do measure ourselves by likes, comments, shares, follower counts. Many of us change our behavior online to get better responses. For example, people only post the best photos of themselves and then they delete the posts that don't get enough engagement, or usually follow trends to just stay relevant. Just like in Nosedive, this creates pressure to present a perfect version of ourselves, even if it's not authentic. Which this is really hard in this day and age because people constantly just trying to make themselves look like something they're not, or even in just social media in general, like Instagram, for example. It's just a highlight reel of people's lives, and it's very, very, very easy for us to just constantly be caring what people think when we post. And a real thing is post anxiety. Like, I have so many friends that genuinely get terrified to post on Instagram because the moment you post, it's just constant, how much engagement are you getting? Or, oh, I didn't get as much engagement on this post than I did last week or 2 years ago. Or how many comments did I get? Oh, she didn't comment on my post. She must not like me. She always used to comment on my posts. So it's kind of just things like that are pretty common and more common than we would think, especially like an older generation that's just kind of using Instagram for fun. Doesn't really realize how serious a lot of people in our generation take it and analyze it and take it a lot deeper than it really should be. And it can really start affecting our minds and stuff. So this episode is exaggerated, but it also feels prophetic. It warns us about what could happen if these systems of control keep growing unchecked. If we don't question who's benefiting from these technologies, we could end up in a world where our worth is determined by numbers on a screen. Which, that's terrifying. And honestly, sometimes I do really wish that we could go back to when social media wasn't a thing and that, you just know, honestly, phones in general, like, there's some positives, but people just, it really does it can really ruin your image of yourself too, because if you're constantly looking at things that are fake and you think that they're real, that's, it's hard and it sucks, and a lot of people deal with it. And so in conclusion, Nosedive is a perfect example of biopower in action. The rating system in the episode doesn't just control people's actions, but it controls their thoughts, their feelings, their identities. So through critical theory, we can see how technology and social structures work together to maintain inequality and keep people in line. The scariest part of Black Mirror is how close it feels to real life. Social media already encourages us to act a certain way for approval, like I was saying. Companies profit from our participation, which makes people want to do it more and more and more. Especially influencers that record their kids' lives and just make a profit off of showing their kids and it's just, I honestly think that some of it's just wrong because you just kind of got to let kids be kids. But I think it's easy to think that we're in control of our own online presence, but just like Lacey, we might be policing ourselves without even realizing it. So the big question is, are we shaping technology or is technology shaping us? Thank you for listening to my analysis of Nosedive.